Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here with Survive the Hunt. Today I'm out at one of my farms. We're setting up a new feeder location. I thought I'd show you guys some tips and tricks to get deer on camera here in the early season, and most importantly, get those bucks moving in daylight so you've got a shot opportunity when season rolls around. All right, so the first thing that you want to think about when setting up these early season feeder locations is cover. As the buck's antlers start to harden, as the velvet starts to get a little bit less sensitive, the deer are going to move into thick cover like this big cornfield behind me here. They're going to be in that thick, brushy woods. So we're going to look for edges and we're going to look for cover. Somewhere a buck can be 100, 200 yards away and come out of that cover. So we're going to get them, you know, either first light, usually last light on feeders in the evenings is really what we're going to be looking for. So this cornfield behind me is a perfect example. Again, big cornfield. The bucks love to bed actually in the corn. They've got water in the corn, they've got shade, they've got food, they've got everything they need in there. They don't have to move very far. It really wouldn't surprise me in this spot if there's a big one bedded just a couple hundred yards away listening to me talk. But that's the number one most important thing for getting daylight pictures of bucks is you've got to be close to where they're bedding. You've got to be closer to the cover. Or if they're not bedding here now, let this feed, the attractant we put in it, let that be enough to convince the bucks to maybe bed a little bit closer. So at least have some good bedding close by available for them. Right, the second thing that we're going to be looking for is just trying not to be too invasive. So what I've got here, this is a Real Wood feeder made by Real Wood Productions. It's not actually made out of real wood, that's the name of the company. But this feeder is really cool. It looks kind of like a log. We'll show you how it works here in a minute, but we're going to open that flap up, put the corn in it, and it's just going to sit kind of naturally. Sometimes with the big gravity feeders, if you put them up too late in the season, it can catch a buck off guard a little bit, might make him a little bit wary. Maybe he's seen feeders like that before. But when you use something that's a little bit more natural like that, less chance they're going to get spooked by it. They still might, but we'll find out. I've been using this one here all year, and so far I've had really good results on it, so we're going to keep that going. All right, so the third thing to get bucks to show up here in daylight is to give them a reason to be here. Give them something that's going to satisfy their sweet tooth, something they can't get out in nature. If you look around me here, man, everything's green. They've got corn, they've got briars. Nutritionally, there's not really a whole lot I can add to their diet this time of year. It's always kind of struck me as funny using corn to bait deer in the middle of a big cornfield, but it works, one, for the convenience, but two, because I always add some kind of attractant. I've been a big fan of big time minerals and supplements for, gosh, 7-8 years now. It's always worked really good for me, but last year I found this stuff. It's the big time cherry on top. This stuff is where it's at. It's like 10 bucks for one of these little jars. You can get between 200 and 400 pounds of corn out of one of these jars, depending on how liberally you use it. But it smells like cherry Kool-Aid, doesn't taste like cherry Kool-Aid. Yeah, I tried it. But this stuff, man, it brings in deer from far away. I'm not sponsored by these guys. I pay full price for this, just like everybody else. And I'll put a link down in the comments where you can buy this. But this stuff, man, has just been awesome. It lets me buy regular corn at the cheaper prices, you know, than buying a bag of Big Time, which is 16, 17 bucks. I can buy one of these and put it with the regular corn that I get at the feed store or that I get in bulk by the truckload later in the year. And this stuff really brings the buck in. You got to give the bucks a reason to visit your feed site over maybe the guy that's, you know, half a mile away, over the corn that's been down in the stock, over the briars he's got to eat. You've got to give them a reason to be here. And if you can do something like this that's going to get their sweet tooth, then bucks are going to be in here, and they're going to be wanting to beat each other to the corn pile. I don't want this stuff to run out. It's going to make them move earlier and earlier. The other thing, and this kind of gets into more the little the tricks of feeding deer, especially when you do it routinely, like in this spot that I do. I feed them almost year round here, but I actually moved this one closer so we had a blind. But this stuff smells so strong. If a deer's sitting here at this feeder, where's it at? There it is. And I've got this blind set up back up there behind me. You can see I can just drive right up here, but hunting out of that blind, them deer smell this. it starts to mess with their nose. I shouldn't say mess with their nose. It's just a stronger smell than a human scent's going to be from 20 yards away with a decent wind direction. But this stuff, when their nose is in it, man, they're not smelling you. They're just eating the cherry and enjoying. So this brings me to another tip when you're feeding. If you can drive to your feeder, whether it's an ATV, a truck, a bike, whatever, go ahead and do it. Get as close as you can. For me being an outfitter, when I'm dropping guys off, if the deer, like I said, the deer might be 200 yards back in this cornfield. They're used to hearing my truck. So if I drop somebody off in here, it might not make a buck get up and move. He just might think something's getting refilled. We're just thinking somebody working on the farm. So if you can drive, save yourself the work and go ahead and drive up to where you're going. Next tip, big thing, this kind of goes with the cherry on top stuff, covering your scent a little bit, working as a cover scent. Use absolutely 0 scent control when you're filling feeders, when you're putting feeders out, when you're doing all that stuff. 0 scent control. Don't spray down, don't wear scent lock, don't do anything. I'm a big believer that you can beat a white-tailed deer's nose. I'm a big believer in it. You know, following all the different tactics and practices that there are for scent control, and we'll do another video on that later, but you can absolutely fool a deer's nose. But if you can start getting them used to your scent this time of year, that's an advantage you have when hunting season comes. So we're a month away. If I fill this thing 2, 3, 4 more times, come out here and check cameras, we're gonna be in really, really good shape. Even if that deer does catch a whiff of us, maybe he'll stick around just long enough. He thinks it was us feeding so we can get a shot. All right, so next tip, you can't let this feeder run out, man. You've got to keep this thing full. Got to keep it full, because when it's not full, 2, 3 days, yeah, the deer might come back and check it. After that, they're on to the next guys, and then you're spending all that time getting them used to finding your spot again. So what I'm gonna do is put this Reveal X out. I like my cameras really, really close, man. I like them right up, you know, 10, 15 feet, probably about right here's where we're gonna put it. I like it close so I can get close pictures of those bucks, but I can also watch my feeder and I can see when my feeder's low. So if, you know, a lot of coons get in it or the deer really get in it and they're really tearing it up, I know I got to get in here sooner and fill it up. Not only that, but using this Reveal, the HD pictures, the video, all the different settings on it, I can always tell what a buck is. I know what we're walking into before season. I know if a buck's big enough to shoot. I've got a strict 160-inch minimum on all my farms that we hunt. And these cell cameras, these Reveal X's, man, they're really playing a part this year in, you know, discerning a 155-inch deer from a 160-inch deer. When they start getting big like that, especially in velvet, it's easy to overestimate them. All right, so on these real wood feeders, to fill them up, 3 little wing nuts that you unscrew, plastic knobs, get those off, pull this cover, flips over, open up your lid, and dump your corn. What I like to do is take this magic big time cherry on top, and every bag I put in here, I just like to go 1 scoop on it. A little shake in there, mix it around a little bit, put the next one in. Close our lid back up. We got 200 pounds in here now. Put our flat back on. Put our wing nuts back on. Here we go. Feeder's ready to go. I'm going to take this cherry on top, sprinkle just a little bit more around. Probably do another full scoop. I like to put a little on top and then throw a little just on the vegetation around just to get that, whoops, try not to throw the cup, but get that smell around so the deer can smell it from a long way away. All right, guys, well, that's it for this one. I hope you learned something good. Got my camera up here, got my feeder up. It is hot. I'm gonna crank the AC in the truck. I got a lot more work to do before season starts. We got about a month left to go. Hope everything's going great for you guys this year. Tag us in your big buck pictures, tag us in your kill shots, your videos, your hero picks, all that stuff. We always like to see it. Let us know what other kind of videos you guys like to see. Hope you have a great hunting season.